If you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories behind ordinary items that turn out to be extraordinary treasures, make sure you subscribe right now so you never miss the next discovery. What I'm about to show you today may look like a simple piece of pocket change, something you might have brushed past in a drawer decades ago, but its story reaches deeper than metal and minting. It reaches into memory, history, and the powerful pull of time itself. Let me take you back for a moment. Think of the early 90s. The world was shifting, opening, becoming something new. Many of you watching lived through that moment when South Africa stood on the edge of transformation. Change was in the air, the kind that you remember not from books, but from the way it felt in your chest. That was 1992, a year marked by uncertainty, hope, struggle, and the promise of a beginning. And right in the middle of all of that came a small copper-plated bronze disc, barely larger than the tip of your thumb, the South African 20-cent coin. Most people saw it as nothing special. Spare change, something that jingled in a pocket or rattled in a car ashtray. But the thing about coins is that they travel. They move through thousands of hands, through moments of joy, frustration, deals struck, journeys taken, and days lived. A coin is a witness. It never forgets where it has been, even if the people handling it do. And the 1992 20 cents holds more stories than most collectors ever stop to think about. Picture a man standing in line at a corner shop in Cape Town during the heat of summer. The kind of heat that makes the air shimmer. He reaches into his pocket for a few coins, among them a shiny 1992 20-cent piece, freshly minted, still crisp in its details. That coin might pay for bread or for a newspaper headlining changes that would shape a nation. It might drop into a child's hand as a small gift, or it might disappear into the folds of a car seat, resting there quietly for months before re-emerging into the world. No one knows exactly where each coin has been, but each one has been somewhere. That is the magic. Collectors know that coins carry meaning far beyond their original value. They freeze time. They hold the artistry of their era. And in this case, they carry a symbol that resonates deeply with South Africa's identity. The elegant King Protea, blooming outward in fine detail, a reminder of the country's natural beauty and resilience. On the reverse side, the shifting coats of arms remind us of history in motion. The coin is small, but it is anything but ordinary. For many men of your generation, this coin isn't just metal. It's a piece of memory. It's the jingling sound you heard while driving to work in the early mornings. It's the spare change dropped into a child's palm at the end of the day. It's the sound of a vending machine in a workshop or of a purchase made at a petrol station while you were heading somewhere important. When we hold an old coin today, we're not just holding currency. We're holding the past. We're holding versions of ourselves that we may have forgotten but never truly left behind. That's why collectors chase pieces like this. Not because they are rare in a technical sense, but because they are rare in meaning. They represent a generation that lived through real change, real transition, real history. And you were part of that history. That's what makes this coin powerful. Not its alloy, but its story, its moment, its connection to the men and women who lived through that time and carried it with them. Now imagine you found one of these coins tucked away in a drawer. Maybe it sat there for decades, unnoticed. Maybe it traveled with you through several homes, several jobs, several chapters of life. Maybe you spotted it one day while clearing out old things and felt that familiar tug of nostalgia, that reminder of days that feel closer than they should. Suddenly, the coin isn't just a coin. It's a piece of your timeline. Collectors often ask what gives an object value. Rarity plays a part, of course, but there is something else. Something harder to measure. Something tied to story, sentiment, and the way an object makes people feel. That's the kind of value that can't be minted or manufactured. It can only grow over time, layered by memories and meaning. And that is the heart of this little 20-cent piece from 1992. But let's take the story one step further. Every now and then, a legend begins to circulate among collectors. A rumor of a particular coin, a unique piece, a minting error never recorded, a perfect strike preserved beyond all logic. a one-in-millions miracle that transforms a simple piece of pocket change into a treasure beyond imagination. These stories travel like whispers through the community, fueling the dreams of anyone who ever held an old coin and wondered what it might be worth. And that's where today's mystery enters. Because somewhere out there, people speak of a single 1992 South African 20-cent coin, one unlike all the others. A coin that, according to the tale, carries a flaw so rare and precise that it elevates its worth to a level no ordinary collector could ever expect. A piece not priced by logic, but by legend. Whether this legendary coin truly exists or not is part of the charm. It reminds us why we keep old coins, why we search drawers, why we hold on to the past. Because sometimes, just sometimes, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Sometimes history gives us a gift we never knew we had. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the world of collectible coins. Your support helps the channel grow, and it lets me keep bringing you powerful stories from history, one coin at a time. Now let's get into a coin that many people overlook, a small piece of metal that most folks would pass by without even a second thought. The South African 20 cents from 1996. At first glance, it seems like nothing special, something that might have rattled around in millions of pockets. But as any seasoned collector knows, it's often the coins that blend into the background that carry the most interesting stories, especially for collectors who appreciate the history behind the metal. The 1996 20-cent coin came from a period of transformation in South Africa, a nation reshaping itself and its identity. That alone already gives this coin a quiet weight. When you hold it, you're holding a token from a country stepping into a new era, and that makes it far more than pocket change. Even if its market value isn't sky-high, its historical significance gives it a presence worth understanding. The coin is made from bronze-plated steel, giving it that warm, slightly reddish tone you see on well-kept examples. It weighs around 3.5 grams and measures about 19 millimeters across, which gives it a surprisingly solid feel for such a small denomination. The moment it hits your palm, you can tell it's from a minting philosophy that valued durability, clean lines, and national identity. One of the first things that captures your attention is the national coat of arms, a symbol that South Africans have seen through generations. It's a detailed, layered design, a shield at the center with divided sections that represent parts of the country's heritage, flanked by symbolic animals. Above it rests a motto that translates to "Unity is strength," a phrase that carries even more weight when you consider the year this coin was minted. In 1996, South Africa was still building its post-apartheid identity, and everything, from flags to coins, served as a reminder that the nation was forging something new, together. The coat of arms on this coin is not simply decoration. It's a statement. Flip the coin over, and you see the elegant protea flower, the national flower of South Africa. It's delicate, detailed, and dignified. The engraver clearly took care to give the petals and leaves depth. So even on circulated coins, you can still see fine elements of the artwork. The protea is the perfect symbol, strong, distinctive, and deeply rooted in the landscape of the country. When placed on a coin like this, it serves as a mark of national pride. For collectors who appreciate craftsmanship, it's an especially satisfying design. Now, like many coins that saw heavy circulation, this one was minted in large numbers, tens of millions, in fact. That means you can still find plenty of them in collections, coin shops, and mixed world coin lots. It's considered a common coin, one that doesn't typically get placed in the spotlight. But here's the thing. Common doesn't mean unimportant. Common coins tell the stories of everyday life. They pass through countless hands: workers, parents, shop owners, students, travelers. Each scratch and mark is part of its journey. For collectors who enjoy thinking about the lives a coin has lived, this 20-cent piece is a wonderful example. And when you consider its place in the timeline of South African currency, it becomes even more interesting. South Africa's 1990s coinage reflects a shift toward modern minting, updated national symbols, and changes in metal composition. This makes the 1996 series a sort of bridge between older coins and newer ones. For people who collect coins to understand history, this 20-cent piece is a valuable puzzle piece in the overall timeline. Collectors in the 55 to 65 age range often tell me they appreciate coins that feel grounded, coins that represent something real, that speak to eras they themselves lived through or remember watching unfold on the news. This coin fits that perfectly. It's from a decade that many of you experienced firsthand, a decade that shaped global politics, communication, economics, and culture. And here's a coin that connects you to that exact moment. It's not rare, but it is meaningful. That Let's talk about condition, because that's where value can shift even with a common coin. An average circulated example will show some wear on the protea, maybe a bit of smoothing around the edges of the coat of arms, and a softening of the lettering. A nicer circulated example keeps much of the detail with only gentle marks. Uncirculated examples show the sharp, crisp lines of the original design, and these are the ones collectors tend to seek out when building a high-quality set or when adding to a South African-themed collection. Because the coin is bronze-plated steel, it can also develop interesting color changes over time. Toning on these coins can range from deep reds to chocolate browns to light golden hues, which makes them attractive to collectors who enjoy patina. Even though millions were minted, truly pristine examples are far less common today, simply because most were used heavily in daily life. That means if you come across one in excellent condition, especially one with its original shine, that's already more appealing to collectors than a typical circulated piece. Now let's address the question everyone wants answered. What is the value of the 1996 South African 20-cent coin today? As of the most recent collector market trends, circulated examples generally fall in the range of a small fraction of a dollar. Slightly better examples might rise a bit, and uncirculated pieces can draw more interest, but we aren't talking about rare coin prices here. The typical value range for this coin falls between about 25 cents and just under a dollar, depending on condition.